looky here. It's the Pat and JT Podcast.
Pat and JT Podcast.
We still do have a couple of Facebook groups you can join if you like that. You can do that. You can like us on Facebook. It's Pat and JT. Instagram, Twitter. I got a creepy thing on Instagram today. Asked me to take a survey. Like, it was really weird.
Just out of nowhere it showed up.
It said and I know it's BS, but they said, and it came down from the top, so I knew it was from Instagram. It came in, it's like, we are only asking a select people to take a survey.
Twitter does the same thing.
But the questions were like I was being handled with kid gloves. Like, the questions were, have you, and I swear I should have taken some screen captures of the questions. There were like 4 questions, and it asked if I'd seen any inappropriate pictures over the last 7 days, longer than 7 days. Haven't seen any. And I was like, no. I mean, what do you consider? There was no other. What do I consider inappropriate?
Say, maybe they should kind of like clarify just a little bit what's your bar for inappropriate.
Well, but then it asked me if I did, and I said no. And then it asked me if I'd seen any naughty words on. It said, asked me if I'd seen any, and use the word naughty words on Instagram, and I said, yes.
Did you sign up as a child?
I don't know what my age. I don't think so.
I mean, Pat as a boy could be misleading.
Well, it said, good point. And it said, I said no. I said yes, because of course everybody sees I see naughty words on
all
Instagram.
Over the place.
And then so the follow-up question to yes was, how did that make you feel? And then the option, there were like 6 options, like
what?
Angry, offended. The last one was, it didn't make me feel anything, and that's what I answered. Like, it didn't even register, but I know that I
can tell you how this makes me feel.
This makes me feel like I'm being like fondled by a weird uncle. Like, this is really creepy.
That's odd. But I wonder too if it was like a trap, because it's asking you, have you seen anything inappropriate? And maybe there were things that were inappropriate and you're not flagging it.
Oh, could be.
Maybe, I don't know.
Then you are in the conspiracy
I'm so in the zone.
Theory. You and your troll account on Twitter you guys have.
I have full functionality.
You guys got to go outside and throw the Frisbee a little bit. You are just everything. But maybe Instagram was trying to trap you.
I'm sorry though. After you listen to about 4 podcasts about Jeffrey Epstein, and you realize what is real, nothing seems impossible.
You know those people that live out in the middle of nowhere and everything like get off the typical get off my lawn person.
Yeah.
The older, I think it's with everybody, the older you get, the more you relate to those people, because you start cutting through all the other BS and the fluff, and you like get to the root of everything, and you realize you guys aren't that crazy.
No. They really aren't that crazy. This podcast, again, I reference back to the one that's the dissection of the other podcast is what it is. And it's the guy from Criminal Minds who used to be a cop, and it's somebody from England, and they're talking about some of these episodes, and they brought that up to a degree. They kind of touched on that once you realize everything that did happen actually was happening, nothing seems out of whack. Just the mere fact that it was common knowledge that he had an island named after himself, and it was called Pedophile Island.
Yeah, it's like.
And what do you do about the people who worked for him? It's like, think about there were people all around him that didn't blow the whistle. His chauffeurs, the people that worked on the island, his people. He had houses all over the place where he had staff, and they literally called him the pedo or the pedophile. It was like a joke amongst. They knew, and nobody did anything. It was like, well, give me my check. I work for a billionaire.
Who knows what they do with those people? You're right. Somebody like that has teams of people around him that know what's going on, and nobody blows the whistle on them.
Is another one. Prince Andrew, how insulated he must. The Queen had to know something was up.
Really? Do you think? I mean, she waddles down the hall. She waves. She holds a purse. She waddles back down. Has teeth. I don't think she knows anything.
Because I think there's been a lot of covering up for him over the years. His nickname was Randy Andy.
Yeah.
Very English.
Gross.
Very English thing. And when he was married to Fergie, and she was the one that was always kind of like painted as the risque, a little blue,
right? The crazy child,
right? And then the whole time it was him. But then she's always defended him. Fergie has, which is crazy too. But it just, once you realize all that stuff happened, that there was a plane called the Lolita Express, and nobody said, and apparently it was completely decked out inside, like a movie set, that kind of movie set.
Oh,
Yeah,
like that, like
that I just found out.
Kim Kardashian movie set.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes. So when you got on the plane, you knew what's going on. Who are the pilots? Where are the pilots?
The guy, yeah. I mean, seriously, I haven't heard anybody mention that. All those people.
Did they all get suicided too? And then the conspiracy theory comes back around. You want to go back to that? I am. My head's about ready to explode because I've been listening to this thing. There's like 2 or 3 of them that I've been listening to. And they're talking about, again, going back to it with the Epstein tape that just disappeared. They just realized was missing. This is the one from the first attempt. And that's when he claimed his cellmate beat him up.
Right.
The former cop that was in jail. The former cop at the time when it happened, like within 2 days, he filed a motion or whatever you have to do legally that tape be preserved because that was his evidence to prove his innocence. And it's gone.
Of course it's gone.
Somebody goes to look for it. Just the other day, TMZ had this story out and said that tape now is missing.
Of course it is.
So now the conspiracy theorists are up in arms that he is alive.
Don't put them at arm's length. Just start saying we.
My friends.
We are at our, yes. Because when you say the conspiracy theorists, it's like saying all those people, those meat eaters over there.
Over there.
We.
Those guys over there, well, I'm just watching them right now. I'm just reading their thoughts and listening.
I think you've dipped your toe a little bit. You're not watching. You got your towel around you, your suit on, and you're dinking your toe in that. You're close.
How cold is that?
You are close.
That feels kind of good. But they're saying that he was, again, going back to that theory of he didn't really die and he was swapped out because they're trying to keep him alive. And that's causing a lot of the uproar that we're seeing politically because they go that next step and then they're going to have people on have to take the oath. And
that's a crazy one that he's not dead. That he's,
yeah.
What put a percentage on how much you believe that?
75%.
Oh my God! You cannonballed into that creek.
Okay, maybe 60%.
It doesn't matter. You still just dove into it.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God!
I'll be able to laugh at myself if I'm wrong, but I will be able to laugh at you if I'm right.
Yeah,
I'll live with being crazy right now. That's fine. You just go ahead. That's okay.
If something happens where you just don't show up for work one day and you just whatever, I warned her. Just a black vest sitting there in your car. Well, I don't know.
I have a black vest on right now. That's why he said that.
She was 75% in on the crazy Epstein stuff.
It's all connected. I'm telling you, this all is crazy. It's so crazy. Anyway, yeah. So the Epstein thing with that tape now disappearing, I was just like, unbelievable.
I don't
Come
get
on.
it. I have and we've mentioned this before. You know, when right after he was murdered or whatever,
he didn't kill himself.
That the cameras didn't work. Well, right now I have a camera on a shelf in my house that I can access with an app that's working,
we
can watch the cats.
Well, that's the one that was in the front office.
Yeah, because we want to find out what cat puked on the table. Oh, no, it was Addie. It was Addie.
And was it really?
No, it was.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think it might have been. No, it was Addie.
You only have one offender. The other one doesn't do it, just the one?
Yeah, Addie did. And the reason why we knew is because when my mom picked up Sophia from school yesterday, walked in the house, Addie was on the table. We didn't even
She's getting sloppy.
Right.
Or brazen.
Right.
No. Right. In your face, human. In your face, human.
I know. She's like, what? And I'm sure as soon as she puked on the table, she got down and Molly, the other cat, grabbed her by the paws and like, listen, B, you just outed us. Now we can't get on the table anymore. You had to puke up there. So that's why we put the camera in. So I can access that, and video goes directly to the cloud of cats eating.
I'm watching cars go by my house every day.
Right. But the camera's outside of one of the most famous prisoners at the time.
And one of the most famous prisons.
Yeah.
That's where all of the biggest of the big go through.
Right.
And I can't buy it. I'm like,
there's something weird going on. I'm not.
And the guards don't remember, and the guards, then they admitted, okay, well, we fell asleep. That's how flimsy of an excuse you come up with. I fell asleep.
Well, it can happen to the best of us. Just fall asleep in the middle of the job, but not that job.
Not that job. They brought in special guards just because of this. You'd think they'd realize this is kind of important. We should probably stay. But instead, they were what? I don't know. Playing Toon Blast.
Well,
Forgot to go check.
Get passed for that. Maybe they were. If they're on,
That would have been
Justice.
a better excuse.
Seriously,
If they said they got into a heavy game of whatever,
I was trying to pass level 1035 on Toon Blast and those damn arrows.
right?
Yeah,
That would
like,
be more
we'd have
believable
been like,
than
you know what?
you're a cop and you fell asleep in a jail with Mr. Epstein down the hall.
Yeah.
You're all your job is to keep him alive. That's all it was.
We all know, everybody knows that people were trying to kill him, actively see him dead.
Yes.
And that's not enough to keep you awake.
That would be enough. That's just craziness. Absolute craziness. So see, I'm sorry. When you start realizing how much of the crazy is true, it's really hard to come up with a reason why some of the other crazy isn't too.
Well, you need to back this. After you're done with this, then why don't you just download a couple episodes of Radio Andy, listen to some Jeff Lewis Live, just soften it up a little bit. Come back to reality just for a
Mix in
little
some
bit.
noodles, not just straight meat.
Just something.
I got it. I got one for
Spice it up.
Spice
Especially
it
going
up.
into the holidays. Nothing like an intense podcast like that going into the holidays. Oh my God.
I'm going to be fun at Christmas.
Oh God. Making your Everclear Kahlua at home listen to this stuff.
Can you guys believe that Harvey Epstein? Not Harvey. God, that's another one. It's Harvey Weinstein. That whole. I don't even want to go down that road because that's not going to get settled
nothing's gonna
satisfactorily.
happen.
It's just not.
We would like to thank Kugler Vision for their support of our podcast.
Super excited about this too because you know what's coming up. It's the year of Kugler Vision.
It's the year they've been waiting for since Dr. Kugler was a baby Kugler. I can't wait for 2020, Mom. He's looking up at her.
I'm going to be an eye doctor.
Yes.
2020 is going to be my year.
It's perfect.
This is going to be the best one. And it could be your year too. Now, Pat and I have both had the procedure done on our eyes and had our vision corrected. My goodness. The one thing I always say, the only regret I had is I didn't do it sooner. And if you have any trepidation, if you're fearful, trust me, a lot of people have already told us about this, that they were fearful. They trusted us to go ahead and make that consultation appointment so you can go in and meet the whole gang. And then you all of a sudden feel that security and you realize that this is a win-win situation. They want you to be comfortable in. And once you understand what's going on and what you can achieve, it just all of a sudden takes the fear away.
That's right. And also, you don't have to just trust us. I mean, 3 years in a row, they've been voted best of Omaha. So a lot of people in the Omaha area and the region trust Kugler Vision.
Not just a lot. We can actually put a number to it to a degree. They have over 600 happy patient reviews. Over 600 of them. And so, the 3 years in a row, and I think they're doing pretty well. So this could be the year. 2020 is just around the corner and you want to see it coming.
That's right.
See what I did there? Okay.
When you make your consultation, you need to let them know that the Pat and JT podcast is where you heard about Kugler Vision, and that's who sent you to go see them.
That's really important. I mean, we want them to know that our supporters are supporting them.
Go to their website. It's kuglervision.com.
Let's talk about Susan Pupman.
Susan Pupman? Pupman?
Susie, the puppy.
Susie Pupman. Got it.
Susan
Who is it?
Pupman.
Got it. Okay. I didn't hear
Now
that.
on Facebook and Instagram. I think across the board. I think there's a Twitter account too. But the Facebook page is pretty.
Do we know how much money he's received from people?
Last I heard, he was at $15,000. And they're keeping track of everything and how much it's costing. She's like we said, she's 9 years old and she's got some things going on. There's going to be some issues. They're trying to get her healthy enough so they can operate on her, but they can't put her under right now because they have to do some major gum surgery and remove some teeth. There's some bad stuff going on there in her mouth. And so to put her under would be a death sentence right now because she's just so underweight. But they had a video of her going on her first walk on her new leash and her new vest.
That's awesome.
And her tail was going 100 miles an hour and she's going for a walk. And somebody had wrote underneath it something along the lines of, she probably knows the neighborhood like the back of her paw. Mm-hmm. And wants to take you out and show off her new humans to all the old neighborhood.
That's
guys,
pretty
right?
awesome.
And I was like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But there's some really cute stuff on there. Just updates. Like I said, he's being as transparent as he can about how much money they're taking in and how much money's going out. And they're just putting it aside so everybody knows how much money is there. And that's going to be for her and her well-being.
If you missed it, and the story's on our Facebook page. If you missed it, just scroll down a touch or on our Twitter.
It's on the Dodo now.
Oh, it is?
It's made it across a lot of those.
He'll get a lot more cash then.
Big sites. Let's see. What's another thing? Oh, Hulu. They just decided to raise their prices on me.
Oh, I know. That was about, a week ago?
No, yesterday.
Oh, is it your first? Well, we got ours boosted up.
My next bill comes in January 3rd.
And it's up a little bit, huh?
$10.
Yeah. Welcome.
I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm wondering.
It's still cheaper than DirecTV no matter what you do.
No matter what.
So
cheaper than anything else I've ever had.
They know that.
They've got a lot of wiggle room.
Jerks.
Right?
Yes.
They know that. But I'm just wondering, in order to get shows that are on ABC and NBC, I know we can get CBS All Access. That's a different charge. And I'd be fine with that if I just go with straight Hulu and not do live TV.
Yeah. Because
aside from a few sporting events, I really, and I have antenna, so I can get live TV. So I just can't record anything. So if I can still access on demand like ABC and NBC, but they usually keep you like off a season. Like Shameless right now on All Access. I can't remember what it was.
Showtime?
It's on season 9. It's not season 10.
Oh, on like if you
I don't have Showtime.
Oh, you don't have Showtime. Oh, got it.
Yeah, then I'd have the new stuff. But it's what it is. It's offered on. It might be on Hulu that it has it.
Probably is.
But it's season 9. And so they don't have season 10 yet, of course. So I wonder if you have to wait a year before.
Probably. Or until the next season comes out or something like that. Yeah.
So I'd really be behind. Not that it matters. I really don't watch as much TV as I used to at all.
Never live. So yeah, I know. I don't watch as much TV. We'd watch literally like 4 channels. Other than that's it. I mean, four channels.
I just pulled up Netflix. I was talking about that the other day, just, because I've been off of it for a couple, 3 months, and I just put back up and see what all's new. So I've been kind of watching it primarily. And there's a movie on there too, called Unbelievable, and it's based on true story. I just started watching it. It's pretty rough. I'm just going to tell you that it has to do with an assault of a young girl. She's like early 20s, and her not being believed. But it does turn out well in the end. Somebody does believe her, but it's kind of interesting because considering what the environment is like right now with the whole Epstein thing and people not believing a lot of the girls and some of the girls that came forward early on, and then to see this movie, it just parallels that. And it's weird because of any crime, again, getting too serious, but of any crime, how many crimes do they actually question the victim? If you walk in and say, I got robbed.
You're right.
Prove you had it to begin with. Nobody
ever
says that. It's like, you got robbed. What happened? You come in and say, I got assaulted. And
nobody ever says, well, your front door was unlocked. So
right.
No, nobody. You're right.
It doesn't matter.
They never say that.
Right? Because that's they still came into your house. That's still against the law. Same rules, right? The same rules. And they kind of get into that whole thing. And I thought, God, that's weird because I never thought about it before.
We told them not to come in the house, but they came in anyway. And then the robber says, well, they wanted it.
Yeah.
Look at the way that house
they had it in the window.
So clean.
It was right there.
I could see the TV box outside. They wanted me to come in there. They said they didn't say no. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So anyway, that all gets brought up too, but kind of interesting stuff. Another thing that I noticed too.
So to wrap up the Hulu, you're pissed at Hulu wrap for $10.
I'm still hanging.
But what's your Beth and I had this conversation a few weeks ago. What's your number that if it goes to X dollars, you're going to be like, that's it, I'm done with you, Hulu? Because it's still net. It's a huge net savings over stupid DirecTV or Dish or any of those.
It's like a fourth of what I was
absolutely
spending.
A fourth.
Which is crazy, just the thought of that. I just can't. I'm tempted just to go ahead and just go straight Hulu without the live TV because I've got it. But then you're back to the whole reason why I like Hulu is on demand.
Yeah,
the on demand factor. And so
when I see people talking about DirecTV, or some friends of mine still have DirecTV with the remote control and all that stuff, it's like I feel like I just want to grab them and say, "Listen, dude, just cut the cord. You're gonna save so much money, and you don't watch half. 98% of those channels. So just trust me.
It's true.
Yeah.
And even the stuff that I do save that's on my cloud account right now, I'll flip through that every once in a while, and I'm like, and I don't watch most of it that I even saved. I watch the same stupid stuff.
Yes, all the time.
Mindless.
I've seen the same episode of Fixer Upper with Chip and Joanna 100 times. I just sit and watch it. No matter.
I'm more like the old TV shows. I like the old, and we've talked about this before, like Twilight Zone.
Oh my gosh.
Things like that. I love this because
people watch your behavior, the podcasts you listen to, the shows you listen to. You have conversations with yourself constantly in the office. They have to think that you're a touch crazy.
I'm highly entertaining.
Is that what it is?
You'd have a blast. If I could have an Ed TV show and just be chill, let's
could.
watch JT.
You could. I tell you, put those cameras up.
How many times?
Put
That's
those
the
cameras
problem.
up.
Once I know they're there, all bets are off. I'm not moving.
God, that's
it won't
funny.
happen. If it just happened, it would probably be kind of humorous, but it's it's not going to happen with my consent.
If you want to have JT having cameras in the house, we're going to set up a GoFundMe for that system.
I can't even imagine doing that. And then if you want to feel really old, 22 years ago, Titanic.
It's been 22 years.
Yes.
And Sophia hasn't even seen it. We asked her a month ago. I thought for sure she had seen it. She hasn't seen it. She doesn't know who Jack, Rose, none of that stuff. So
Oh my God.
our eyes got super wide. And we're like, yes,
You
we
can
have
watch
to
it.
watch
Now
this.
we have to watch it.
Yes.
And I will watch it every time if I
Yes.
trip across it, I'll stick.
Yes, every time. Every single time. And then you're sucked in for 3 hours or whatever.
Yeah, it is about 3 hours too. It is about a 3 hour movie.
22 years. Jeez,
22
dude.
years. If you want to feel old,
That's awesome.
I will go
That's a
on.
great way to-
What is it? Is I will go on?
My heart, yeah.
My heart
will go on. I will go on.
I will go on. What is it? Who? Celine? What'd you
Those
say?
people over there, their hearts will go on. It's Pat and JT on Twitter, Instagram.
I'm sure that necklace is real too.
Facebook. It is
Based on a true story.
Oh, R.I.P. Bill Paxton too. Sad.
Oh, yeah.
Could not end this podcast on a happy note.
Dang it.
Thanks for listening to our podcast.
Pat and JT Podcast. A Parkville Media Production.